Hey guys, it's MMA Vulture coming at you live with Dana White's Contender Series Week 5 recap. So we're going to go ahead and jump right into the first bout of the night, Corinne Laframboise versus Nicolle Caliari. And many people in this fight came into it thinking that Laframboise had the upper hand in the jiu-jitsu department, and actually Nicolle Caliari did, as well as a lot of people thought Nicolle Caliari had the upper hand in boxing, and I think Laframboise did. So we're gonna go ahead and talk about Laframboise. She came out as we expected, had constant pressure over. Nicolle Caliari was pushing, eating shots. She still looked good with her constant pressure. She had great elbows in the clinch, good boxing. She had good takedowns. She actually did take down Nicolle Caliari. She had all right takedown defense, seeing as she did get taken down by Nicolle Caliari a lot. So we're going to go ahead and talk about Nicolle Caliari now. Her jiu-jitsu, as I said, looked very improved. She looked very good on the ground. She had great takedowns. Her takedown defense did look a little bit questionable to me, seeing as she did get taken down by Laframboise. She did ultimately end up winning this bout by armbar. I don't really know how Laframboise did not see the armbar coming, but Nicolle ended up beating her by armbar, and she looked like the better fighter overall. And moving right along to the next fight of the night, we had a very intense, great fight for the second bout of the night, and that is Josias Musasa versus Otar Tanzilov. And we're going to go ahead and talk about Tanzilov first. So, coming out, he had quick hands, clean high kicks. He looked great. He was pushing the pace. He had great takedowns on Musasa. He had an obvious grappling advantage over Musasa, like I said in my previous video. He looked very strong in the clinch. The one thing I do want to note is he had trouble keeping Musasa down. Every single time Musasa would hop back up and really didn't have too much trouble getting back to his feet. We're going to go ahead and hop over to Musasa now. He did have explosive movement. He looked fast. He was a strong fighter. He was pushing the pace. He was aggressive. He was a very overwhelming type of fighter. He was eating shots. He was being very, very aggressive. His striking looked very clean and crisp. His grappling looked good. His takedown defense looked good against Tanzilov. I will say that. I do see him being a top 15 contender. I think that the only thing that he really needs work in, like I said, is his grappling. I think that's the only thing that I see is something that he needs to work on. His striking looked very crisp. His footwork looked good. He found some good opening shots on Tanzilov. Overall, he looked like the better fighter, even though I do think Tanzilov did win, in my opinion, as well as Dana did say he thought he won as well. So that is something to be mentioned, but Musasa ended up getting the W as well as the contract. So if you had Musasa, then good job. Moving right along, we had a very boring fight. This was a snooze fest in my opinion. So coming out, we had Taiga Iwasaki versus Yousri Belgaroui. So coming out, Belgaroui looked good. He had a great stiff, quick jab. He had great striking from the outside. He was maintaining distance really well, keeping Iwasaki on the outside, as I said, and not letting him close the distance. He had the obvious striking advantage over Iwasaki. He ultimately overwhelmed him and did beat Iwasaki. He beat him by knees and by punching him. And in my previous video, I did mention he likes to use his knees. He had a knee to the body and then a knee to the head, and then started hitting him with head shots, body shots, and then ultimately got him to the ground, and it was called off. Now, on the other side, Iwasaki was a tough fighter. He looked good on the inside with his elbows. He was a great dirty boxer. He did rush in a lot, leaving his chin open, but Belgaroui couldn't really find it until that third round. Overall, this wasn't the greatest fight, but Belgaroui, he looked all right, but ultimately didn't get the contract. I agree. I don't think he would have done much either in his weight class, to be honest. Moving right along, we have the main event, which actually was a phenomenal fight. It actually saved the card because Quemuel actually pulled out. He was supposed to be going up against Cody Steele, and from what I could tell, he had a panic attack. He ultimately did not want to fight Cody Steele because he was afraid of him. So we got one less fight this week, but this fight, this main card, saved it. So we're going to go ahead and jump right into the main card. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't. So we're going to go ahead and talk about Phillip Latu first. He was an explosive fighter. He had decent boxing. He looked good with his hands. He had heavy hooks. His boxing looked good on the inside. He did have trouble closing the distance against Navajo Stirling. His takedown defense looked pretty good, seeing as Navajo Stirling couldn't really get him down. And that's pretty much all I can say about Phil Latu. Now, hopping right over to Navajo Stirling, he looked great this bout. He was a calm, calculated fighter with great, precise striking, great kicks. His grappling didn't look the best. He couldn't really get Phil Latu down. That's something that I think he does need to work on. But other than that, he looked great. He picked apart Latu and then ultimately got the knockout over Phil Latu, and he looked great. I'm excited to see where he goes in the light heavyweight division. I think he's going to be a great up and coming star. I'm definitely going to be tuning into his next fight. I am very excited to see where he goes, and that's all for today's video. Thank you. Like and subscribe like I said previously, and that's all for today.